Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the streets of Chicago. Welcome back to the AT&T Champ Car World Series season. My name is Carmen, Sienna. Welcome to the post-Indianapolis 500 part of the schedule. 8 races down, 12 races remain. And we begin here in the Midwest, one of the largest cities in the Midwest, a place we've been to before. We come to once again. In place of the 1.5-mile track located just outside Chicago in Joliet, we are in downtown Chicago. This 2.2-mile street circuit wrapping around Grant Park, right in the heart of Chicago. Chicago has a lot of history for motor racing, stock cars, open wheelers. You name it, Chicago has had it. It's always been a party as well. And we're not going to see anything too different here this weekend. 2 races on tap. 1 race today here on Saturday. Another race tomorrow on Sunday. Qualifying yesterday determined the starting grid for today's race. And it's Kuni Kinoshita, the current championship leader, on pole position. She'll be having to make sure a lot of things go her way. Her championship gap was slimmed down from about 50 points down to 14. Artem Kozlov taking the lion's share of those points, now 14 points away from the championship lead as a rookie right now. But it's Kinoshita leading the way with Alicia Kovalkiewicz alongside. And what a historic night it could be for Kovalkiewicz. Last time we had a doubleheader weekend, Kovalkiewicz in 2017 swept both races. That was at Toronto all the way back 6 years ago. She's on the front row tonight for Cherokee GP. Can she do it again? She had pole position when she took that first race win in Toronto. The front row starts, not a bad offering there. Nicole Leckie and Valerie Fang in row 2. Then it's Sakura Ishibashi and Thomas Rogers in row 3. Evangeline Porter and Natalia Velisevich make up row 4 for All Atomic Autosport there. Then it's Elise Alexander and Juliet Takani in the top 10. So rookies pretty well isolated right there at the edge of the top 10. Just outside the top 10 is where you'll find Simona Leroux and the Indianapolis 500 champion Artem Kozlov. What can they do from 12th on the grid? Kage Kobayashi, his best starting position so far in Champ Car in his career. He starts 13th alongside BK Glover. Then it's Andrew Draco and Keisha Fox in row 8. Row 9 is Wyatt Jones and Asada Kito. And then you see Natalia Kurchenko and Asada Kito. And Bianca Lucero in row 10. Row 11 is Asher Crane and Mateus Michelin. Maria Damata is back on the grid after failing to make the last few races. She starts in 23rd alongside Cameron Jackson, 24th. Esther Hofstad and Katrina Ochoa in row 13, row 14, Shinichi Kamaya and Rex Riley. And then you have the last row of the grid there. It is Marcus Petrovic and Isaias von Soden lining up 29th and 30th on the grid. A lot of things to keep an eye out for in this race. Today is a race where it should be pretty straightforward. Primary compound tires on these cars compared to the alternates we'll see tomorrow. So less pit stops will be made in this race, a lot more straightforward, but it's still a brand new street circuit. They had half the time they normally would have on these tires. There was 2 practice sessions, one on the primary, one on the alternate compound to set up for both races. So drivers didn't really get to learn a lot on each compound. They just learned generally what to do with the street circuit with this 2.2-mile track here in downtown, how bumpy it is, where the passing points are going to be, and how important your in and out laps are going to be here at Chicago. As far as the nuances, it's all anyone's game. They're learning during this race here today, and they'll be learning even more tomorrow. So you see a lot of familiar faces in the front of the field. Again, you see Kinoshita, you see Kovalkiewicz, Leckie, Fang's up there. You look at Sakura Ishibashi, a lot of familiar faces there in that top 5, but it's still anyone's game as we get ready to hear the command of the fire engines. This field will be led. It's a short formation lap. This is in the short chute between the last couple corners before everything gets ready to go here.
Drivers, start your engines.
And there was the command of the fire engines. Again, Kinoshita and Kovalkiewicz, front of the field. It's Kinoshita bringing the Pepsi machine to the front of the field. Kovalkiewicz bringing Oculus to the front of the field. Honda versus Alpine at the front. And as I said, it's a very short run. Cold tires will be very important at the start. 95 laps, 200 miles. Green flag is in the air, and away we go. And Kenosha got a really good start over Kovacevic. Behind them, though, still 2 by 2. Through turn 1, approaching turn 2. Lechty gets third place, pretty well secured. Kovacevic ran a little bit wide there. So now Lechty's going to try to attack to take an early second place in this race. Very tight and narrow down here. They go from very high speeds to have to swing through a double apex. Right-hander. But so far, the opening lap here in Chicago is good. There's Valerie Fang in 4th. Thomas Rogers 5th. Got ahead of Sakura Ishibashi. Filicevic got ahead of her teammate there in Porter as they now wrap around the fountain. And phenomenal stuff so far. Everyone stepping into the right path so far. Takani got ahead of Alexander. That's in the top 10. Alexander, the 11 car for Circuit Motorsports, the edge of the top 10, sitting 10th at the moment ahead of the reigning Indianapolis 500 winner. Kozlov cut the gap down to 14 points, but has not had a strong weekend here in Chicago. Is there a hangover from winning that 500 just 6 days ago? There is the 77 of Leroux. You'll notice one car running Red Bull sponsorship, the other not. Lechty up front running CE connectivity, that orange and white machine. There's Kobayashi fighting with Keisha Fox. Very tight and narrow through there. Kobayashi holds on. Kobayashi still 13th. Keisha Fox still in the 14th position. Keisha Fox started this race a little bit further down, so already looking to make some spots up there in that Cherokee GP machine. The last of the 3 Cherokee GP cars. Our other 2 teammates in the top 10 at the moment. Wrapping around the fountain, the party area. Here in downtown. There is Takani, the NOS Energy, number 69. Porter just ahead. And you have Filicevic. There's Ishibashi. There's Thomas Rogers in that Reese's number 2 machine sitting in 5th. Right now, it is Kenosha's game. Kovacevic survived the initial onslaught that was being pressed by Nicole Lechty. Lechty in 3rd, ahead of Valerie Fang, as Kovacevic has tried to separate herself from the rest of the field. Opening laps, though, have been pretty well stellar. No incidents to note. And this is a track that was theoretically going to be a huge source of contention in terms of lap 1 early incidents. So far, it's been phenomenally clean, and it gets tight in some places, like right here. The way it narrows down can be very, very difficult to handle. Again, still early runnings, and tires will wear. Ishibashi leads the way in this battle to try to get up into the top 5. Currently sitting in 6th. There is Filicevic, there is Porter, Takani, and Alexander still holds on to the top 10 at the moment. Everyone finding a rhythm still, and you see different breakaways forming here. There is the 77 of Leroux. Leroux sitting right now in the 12th spot, opening up a giant gap to Kobayashi, who's holding on to 13th. Fair play to him. Best qualifying position he's had all season long, and he's holding on to it, even if it means holding up Keisha Fox and BK Glover just behind. Further back in the field, there is the 86, Asada Kito, the Konica Minolta Obsidian Racing Team Chevrolet. There's Andrew Draco, the two-time world champion. Still filling in for the Andrew Schuffenjang. Then you see there is the 88, the rookie, the two-time Atlantic Championship winner, Bianco Lucero, ahead of Wyatt Jones. Wyatt Jones had his best finish in Champ Car last time out of Indy. Right now sitting in the 19th position. Still struggling on the road courses, but found that pace on the ovals where he's so familiar. 20th, a very lowly place right now for Matthias Michelin. Not a good start so far for the 60 crew. But he's not the lowest place. Striker Motorsports car, his teammate Kurachenko is in 21st. Looking a little bit further down the order, there's Cameron Jackson, the 19, leading Astrid Crane. Then Katrina Ochoa, Maria Damata, Rex Riley, Marcus Petrovic. There's Esther Hofson up one spot ahead of Shinichi Kamaya. And running out the back of the field so far is Anastasius von Sonnen. Front of the field, though, is Kunik Kinoshita still, opening up a pretty substantial gap over Alicia Kovalkiewicz, but Kovalkiewicz also comfy in her own right over the 78 of Nicole Lechty. Again, this is the first of two races this weekend. Racing on Saturday here, the primary compound tires, and then they can swap on the faster tires. What could be a more intense and more chaotic race tomorrow on the streets of Chicago. Lechty leads Valerie Fang. Everyone's still trying to find their rhythm here. Thomas Rogers in the top 5, doing a pretty decent job so far, but looking for a little bit more. Trying to deny his former teammate, Sakura Ishibashi. A top 5 so far. A lot of race still to go. Again, 95 laps for finishing lap 5 here, for lap 6, excuse me. Moving on to lap 7. So, pit stops will obviously play a factor here in terms of how this race plays out. And as we look throughout the top 10 here, Alexander to the very cusp of the top 10, center of your screen. Sophomore driver for Striker Motorsports, leading the way for that team right now. It's been either Kurachenko or Michelin most of the season so far. Alexander getting most of the unfair mechanical retirements so far this season, but showing some pace here in Chicago. The Nashville native in the top 10, exactly where they started. And right now holding up Artem Kozlov with a gap emerging between Kozlov and Leroux, and an even bigger gap between Leroux and Kobayashi, who continues to frustrate Keisha Fox. Getting a lot of work being put in here so far. This will be a very physical race for the drivers, and they have to do it twice. As they roll through. Kobayashi sitting in the 13th position, doing a decent job at the moment there. Making sure there wasn't a car in pit lane. There is not. As we cycle our way down through the field. Von Sonnen, the last car running. And already Kinoshita, the gap between Kinoshita and Von Sonnen is 32 seconds. The lap time around here is a minute 12 for the race leader. It's a minute 14 for Von Sonnen. So Von Sonnen losing about 2 seconds a lap to Kinoshita, the championship leader. And again, Kinoshita's been opening up a significant gap. Last lap was pretty comparable between Kinoshita and Kovalkiewicz, about half a tenth in favor of Kinoshita. But Kovalkiewicz holding her own right now. Fastest lap was a 1:12.152 by Kinoshita. And there's a huge discrepancy in pace that time around by Kovacevic. 1:12.8 compared to 1:12.3 by Kinoshita and 1:12.6 by Lehti. So driver center your screen, Kovacevic, struggling to find a little bit of consistency in the 96 car for Cherokee GP at the moment. Still sitting firmly and comfortably ahead of Nicole Lehti, but losing time and losing grips with the race leader, who is trying to get her championship run back on track after a very poor race at Indianapolis 6 days ago. Kovacevic still sitting in second place. Last time by was actually faster than Kinoshita by about a tenth, and over 6/10 faster than the driver right here, center of your screen, Nicole Lehti. So the ebb and flow is real right now. Lehti sitting in the third position at the moment, closing in once more as lap times begin to increase a little bit. I think they've begun to breach the upper echelon of the tire limits. Kenosha running a little bit slower, 1:12.5s again, 1:12.9 for Kovacevic, 1:12.7 for Lehti, Feng, and Rogers. So some consistency across the board, but consistently beginning to slow down as these tires begin to take a beating in the streets of downtown Chicago. There's Rogers and Sakura Ishibashi battling still for fifth. Not far behind is Natalia Velicevic, race winner at Homestead, Miami. Then Evangeline Porter, the veteran and lead driver for Atomic Autosport, watching your teammate right up ahead and keeping an eye on one of Cherokee GP's up-and-coming drivers, Takani, making a name for herself so far. Alexander stays in 10th ahead of Kozlov and Leroux. Have to go all the way back to Kobayashi. Kobayashi 23 seconds off the race leader so far. And you see the line of cars behind him. Clean Air is a premium, he's got it. And the other drivers right now do not, and they're struggling because of it. Kobayashi leading the way right now. This is 13th place that he is holding, and he is the floodgates that just will not burst. Pit stops cannot come quick enough for some of these drivers, though. They want to try to get around them using strategy here, because their chance of getting a top 10 is walking away the longer that Kobayashi holds them up. Kobayashi's great. He's doing a fantastic job of that. Again, ticker and lap count, top of your screen, the ticker up and going. We introduced earlier this season. Alexander in the 10th spot, in danger of potentially losing this if Kozlov or Leroux can make any inroads here. But again, it is a giant line of cars all the way through. Wyatt Jones a little bit further back there behind Andrew Draco. There's Michelin, Kurachenko, Jackson, Crane, Ochoa, Damata, Riley. There is Esther Hoffson right now. 30 cars on track here in Chicago. All of them still running, but all of them struggling to match the barometer set by that car right there. Kimi Kenosha, the World Championship leader. Lost a significant portion of her lead last time out of Indy, but looking to open it up a little bit here this weekend. It's a double-edged sword, though. Kenosha, if she stays where she is right now and wins this race, will start 10th tomorrow. The top 10 invert in the finishing order. 11th to 30th, where you finish is where you start tomorrow. And you see just where the most of the field is compared to Kenosha. She's on the other side of the track. A really good view there. Going down one of the main streets here, blocked off by the street circuit. And Kenosha again, almost untouchable here. Coming across to complete lap 14. And that view going down, just down the main straightaway there. A really good view of where she is compared to everyone else. And she is on an island. There's Kovalkiewicz, a little bit further down as well. Again, Kovalkiewicz separated by 5.7 seconds. Kenosha's found a second win in those tires. Then there's Lechty, Fang, and Rogers. They still sit in the top 5 at the moment. Looking at Thomas Rogers right now, sitting on your screen, the 2 car for Panasonic Team Impulse. Did a pretty good job himself at Indianapolis last week. Staying in the top 5 in the championship standings. Still looking for his first win in 2024, or 2023, excuse me. But feels comfortable where he's at, and the team feels comfortable with where he's at as well. Rogers 3rd place in the championship standings, just behind his teammate Kozlov. Right now in the race, leads the Team Impulse Brigade here in Chicago. Rogers stays ahead of Ishibashi at the moment, and then it's once again the Atomic Autosport duo of Velisevich and Porter. Then Julia Takani, who's beginning to fall away from that Atomic duo, but still ahead of 10th place, Elise Alexander. Passing is a premium right now. These primary tires, more durable, but slower and don't have as much grip in these tires as well. So they have to have a lot of confidence or a lot of advantage to make some overlapping passes work. And everyone's still largely figuring themselves out here on the streets. Wow, really wide there went Velisevich, sitting in super deep, but closed the gap significantly to Ishibashi. So there's a push coming by Blisswitz to try to get around Ishibashi. Cat Up Racing versus Atomic Autosport. Vlisovich trying to lead the charge, the rookie driver. Currently a phenomenal job being spelled out here. You're almost to lap 20 at this point, on lap 18. Connie sitting in ninth still, but again losing touch, but still ahead, well and truly ahead of Alexander. Again, pit stops will change things pretty significantly. Who goes for an undercut and who prefers the overcut? All of that's going to be important to find out here. Starting lap 19 for the leaders. That's what these drivers are coming to right now, led by Kobayashi. 13th place still. They go down towards turn 1, through turns 1 towards turn 2. Keeping an eye, Vlisovich had to drop back. Vlisovich sitting in the 7th position at the moment. Lap 20 underway. Been caution free so far. Whoa, Rogers in the wall. Thomas Rogers just tagged the wall, went too deep on the braking into turn 1. Made a mistake. Ishibashi goes through. Is there any significant damage to that number 2 car now? We talk about drivers going deep in the braking zones. We saw Vlisovich do it and close the gap. Rogers did it and it ended up the other way. Can't afford to do that too many times. And Rogers already paying for it, already down a spot. Ishibashi quick to pick up the place. Letty and Fang have to be perfect to try to make any inroads here. Kovalkiewicz on her own, pretty solid at the moment. But now it's game on around Thomas Rogers. Ishibashi finally clear, looking for some clean air to open up the space. Ishibashi running wide as well. Everyone trying to run a little bit wider, maximize their lines here. There's Alexander running wide as well. Everyone trying to push it a little bit wider. Through turn 1, trying to maximize and find that time. There's Kobayashi leading Fox, leading Glover, leading Quito. How rattled is Thomas Rogers? That has become a very critical question. Ishibashi has gotten ahead and is pulling away already. We'll see what the pace difference looks like, but it looks pretty outstanding already, just in a single full lap. What is the difference? Ishibashi across the line that time. Looks like she'll have a pretty outstanding lap difference. Waiting for it to update on our boards. 112.5 to 113.4. So a 9/10 difference on this lap. Thomas Rogers. Proving to be a bit of a floodgate. Ishibashi got through because of a mistake by that 2 car. And now Velisevich knows where the weakness in the line is. Was not afraid to pressure Ishibashi, but Ishibashi held firm. Can Velisevich close in and do it again? Crossing the quarter-way mark in this race. And right now is Kenosha leading by a significant margin. The battle that we're watching is the battle for 6th place, with Rogers in front of this driver right here, Natalia Velisevich. Evangeline Porter just behind in the 8th position, excuse me. 9th place, Juliet Takani, and 10th place still, Elise Alexander. Then you have Artyom Kozlov. There is the 77 of Simona Leroux. Then the 42 of Kage Kobayashi, well back and leading the battle for 13th on his own. Qualified well, but struggling to maintain it. Keisha Fox in the 62 trying to give chase. Everyone's stepping out a little bit now. The tires are beginning to give way. As we browse throughout the top 10, Ishibashi well and truly gone with the top 5. Meanwhile, Kenosha coming to complete another lap already. Blistering pace so far by the World Championship leader. She's led every lap so far from pole position. 24 laps in the books for Kenosha. Last lap, a 112.73. She's still setting phenomenal pace. Kovalkiewicz last time around set a 113.0. So 3/10. Kovalkiewicz not too far away, just losing a little bit more every single lap. The gap 8.1 seconds, the difference between Kenosha and Kovalkiewicz. But then you have to look, it's another 4 seconds down to Nicole Lechty, who set a time level with Kovalkiewicz. Just hasn't been able to do that consistently. All 30 cars still running. But for Kamaya and Anastasia von Sonnen, they are not far away from going a lap down potentially. They are 58 seconds away from the race leader, or 14 seconds ahead of Kenosha right now. They are not far ahead. Kenosha leads the way here at Chicago still. Kenosha pushed the lap a little bit more, 112.5 to 112.8. So both Kenosha and Kovalkiewicz found a little bit of time. Everyone else still struggling. Lefty sitting in third place at the moment. Would love another podium. Would love to get her season back on track at the moment if she can. Likewise with this driver right here, Sakura Ishibashi, who's had a lion's share of bad luck so far this season. Ishibashi sitting in the top 5. And you see the gap that she's put on Thomas Rogers. An incredible gap. Rogers holding up Felicevich and Porter. I believe the pit stop's going to be pretty vital to the 13 and the 81 to try to get around. Valerie Fang still trying to chase down Nicole Lecting. You see how fast Ishibashi has been. Ishibashi putting in lap times faster than anybody else on track that lap. Faster than the race leader, faster than everybody else. Ishibashi is on a mission right now to try to get back into the podium places. She's 2 spots away from it right now. But as we say so often in this sport, catching's one thing, passing's another. It's been phenomenal so far in this race. Everyone's kept it clean. Everyone's still running here. So the gaps continue to expand at the front, and they begin to shrink at the back. Again, Kenosha's not far away. There's von Sonnen approaching the kink towards turns 4 and 5. And Kenosha's on the same straightaway. Absolutely electric so far. As Kenosha looks for another win this season. Again, was very disappointed, almost despondent after the way the Indianapolis 500 went 6 days ago. Turn that fury into pace is what we've seen Kenosha do so far this weekend. Taking the physicality of this track and taking it on the chin. Starting lap 30 for Kenosha. Von Sonen's about 5 seconds away from going a lap down here. Kenosha not far away. You see, in fact, there's Von Sonnen just coming around the final corner. Kenosha can see him now. Kenosha coming up the lap. Some of the cars at the back of the field, and this will be interesting because they're going to fight to stay on the lead lap. They will fight very hard to stay on the lead lap here because they know the passing is hard to do here at Chicago. This will be an interesting battle that Kenosha gets to begin to deal with, and this could let Kovalevich reel right back in. We're about to see some short track lap traffic tactics on a street circuit here. Technically, there's a methodology to take things on a road course, but you're not going to see that here. Kenosha, it can now see the line of cars that is going to challenge her every step of the way from here on out. Kenosha getting close to that outside wall in turn 1 as well. Kenosha will let the manager pace a little bit. There's a lot of cars coming up ahead. Top having to meet a fuel number. Kenosha got it to the tail end. Driver in pit lane. That was Andrew Draco in pit lane. Still working on trying to get around some of the lap traffic. This will slow Kenosha down quite a lot. Kenosha slowing down a lot here. Last lap, a 114.52. That's how slow things have gotten for Kenosha, trying to get around the 76 of Von Sonnen to put Von Sonnen a lap down. Kovalevich will close in quickly here. And in comes Kenosha. In comes Kovalevich as well. Not a bad shout to make that strategy call. Valerie Feng, though, stays out. As does, believe that is Sakura Ishibashi. Yep, so 2 of the 3 stay out here. So first pit stops of the day underway. Valerie Feng will take the lead ahead of Sakura Ishibashi. Ishibashi has been the fastest car on track the last several laps. Lap traffic will be very critical here at the end of this cycle. But Valerie Feng currently leading the way. Valerie Feng stole headlines entering the month of May, announcing that she was not staying with Cat Devil Racing, declining an extension with the team to explore options elsewhere. Still looking for her first career win in Champ Car. Has not had a lot of race leading pace, but now that the leaders will be encountering lap traffic, it could throw everything up for grabs here. Expecting Feng and Ishibashi to come in this lap, though. They will not stay out very long. Actually, they will. They'll stay out another lap. At least Feng does. Feng stays out 2 laps. So Valerie Feng, it'll be interesting to see if this overcut works out for Feng at all. We'll keep an eye here. Phenomenal stuff so far. Valerie Feng will try to lead a second lap here, coming down pit lane this time. And in pit lane she comes. So now the question is, where's everyone else at? Pit stop still ongoing. There's Kenosha. Still waiting for a lot of cars to come down pit lane. Kenosha still waiting for some cars to come down pit lane. Artem Kozlov, one of those drivers that need to come down pit lane. Believe same with Porter. And the more that Kenosha sits in traffic, the better it is, really, for everybody else, including Kovalevich. Ishibashi's another one. Valerie Feng, who just took a pit stop as well. Really good chance that they can gain on the 18 car here, who has been almost untouchable the first 34 laps here at Chicago. Again, we're in downtown. Last time we were in Chicago, 2021, and Hazel Lacasse won that race over Ishibashi and Siri Lundqvist. How things have changed from a 1.5 mile intermediate oval to the 2.2 mile street circuit. In comes Kozlov. And a slight bearing of reprieve from Kinoshita. Three cars a lap down at the moment, Draco, Riley, and Petrovich. But again, pit stop still underway. A wider pit window. Drivers not sure when they wanted to come in and get off that set of Firestone Firehawk tires and put a new set on. Looking like it'll be at least another pit stop in this race. Closer to lap 70. Two-stop race here. Expecting 4, maybe 5 stops. We've heard with the alternate tire compound. They've not been very happy with how that alternate compound has worked here at Chicago, with how abrasive this track has been. So it could be a lot of stops, 4 or 5 stops expected in the race tomorrow. Evangeline Porter leads a lap officially. In fact, Porter right ahead. I believe that is. No, that's Riley ahead of Porter, ahead of Kinoshita. You see some of the cars coming out. That's close between Kurachenko and Crane. Draco will get back on the lead lap, I do believe, because there's Kinoshita. Porter just came down pit lane. Just verifying the double check here. Yeah, Porter's down pit lane already. In fact, there's Porter right there. There comes Glover in pit lane. Porter came out still ahead at Takani, which is where she was before. So she didn't gain a whole lot there, but she lost a lot on Velicevic, who came in earlier. A huge loss there for the 78 of Lecty, now behind the 17 of Ishibashi, who now has to chase down her teammate, Valerie Fang. Kovalkiewicz has to deal with lap traffic, but so does Kinoshita. Just different wavelengths of lap traffic. Different wavelengths of lap traffic. Rex Riley lets Kinoshita go through. So that'll be 2 cars off the lead lap. I do believe, once everything gets updated here, Draco next up on the docket for Kinoshita to handle. Kinoshita looks to the inside. Draco holds on to the outside lane, will not make it easy for the race leader. Holds on to the race lead. Will not stand down without a fight. The 37-year-old in the number 20 filling in for Shufan Zhang. Draco frustrating the race leader. The more that she's stuck behind the likes of Draco and Kurachenko and Michelin, the better it is for Kovalkiewicz and company. It is all to play for so far. Still here in Chicago for race 1 of 2. There are 3 doubleheaders this season. The next doubleheader just happens a couple weeks from now. And the Netherlands when we head to Valkenburg. And the last doubleheader happens in Toronto in Canada. So drivers have to get used to this format. At least for this year. Draco holds on. Draco sitting in the 25th position, not where he wants to be. Not a great pit stop there for the Dragon Motorsports crew. But still on the lead lap. Rex Riley not having a great race as well. Sitting in the 26th position. The first car off the lead lap. But again, it's quite a crowd here around the race leader. Kinoshita leads the way, but It's traffic all around. There's Draco, there's Kenosha, there is Astrid Crane, there's Maria DeMata. It is a constant conga line of drivers and cars. I think all the way, you have to look all the way to Kobayashi up in near the top 13. Kobayashi still in the 14th position now. Keisha Fox has gotten ahead. But it really does kind of stem with Kobayashi in 14th place all the way down to 26th with the race leader in between. The gap is coming down a little bit here. Kovacevic has brought the gap down to 6.8 seconds. Does it change any more here? Again, Kovacevic has had her own little bit of traffic to get through as well, because there is Kovacevic, that Oculus number 96, trying to make some work and magic happen. Valerie Fang, Sakura Ishibashi, and Nicole Lechty all on her tail as well. So really a really good battle for second place brewing. But again, it will be a strategy game to make this magic happen. Strategy, handling the lap traffic, handling pit stops. There's one more in this race. And they are not far away from Kenosha at the moment. However, the lap traffic around Kenosha has picked up the pace. Draco just at a 113.7. Kenosha at 113.8. Again, Kenosha can only really react and respond to what's going on in front of her. But the pace so far by them has been a lot better. Whereas these cars right here, you look at where Kovacevic and Fang, Ishibashi are, they're being held up by the three slowest cars in the field, and Petrovic, Von Sonen, and Kamaya. Another car in pit lane is Esther Hofson. Hofson's come back down pit lane. We'll see if we can find an update as to what's going on there with the 28 machine. There's the 28 of Hofson now, back out on track. But now 2 laps down after an issue. Kenosha once again closing in on Andrew Draco. Just not really close enough to make anything happen. It isn't for lack of effort though. Kenosha trying to make her way through. Still not under extreme duress yet, because the battle here for second place has still not cleared the lap traffic here with Petrovic and Von Sonen and Kamaya. They've still not gotten clear. They've still not even gotten partly through these lap cars. So just like last time out of Indianapolis, lap cars give it away, and is that trouble for Kovacevic? Seemed very offline for the 96 car. I have to double check to see if Kovacevic has to make another pit stop here. Seemed like there was something amiss in the 96 car. May have gotten it fixed. No longer running off pace. And stays out, but that was almost concerning for the 96 team. We are now on lap 45. It has been phenomenal so far. But still a lot of work to go here in Chicago. We're going to step aside for a non-stop break here at Chicago. Don't go anywhere. Non-stop coverage of the AT&T Champ Car World Series continues here on ABN Sports. We are back underway. It's been caution-free here in Chicago. Welcome everyone to ABN Sports coverage of the AT&T Champ Car World Series. Approaching lap 50 here in Chicago for race 1 of 2 this weekend. And it is all work to do. Sienna is still dealing with lap traffic, but luckily she's not alone in that regard. Second place, third place, fourth place, and fifth place, all dealing with lap traffic as well. Kovacevic, Fang, Ishibashi, and Lekti, all dealing with lap traffic as well on a different part of the track. There's a traffic build-up here on the streets of Chicago. There's Esterhofsen 2 laps down. There is Velicevic. Then you have Porter. Then to look a little further back, there's Juliet DeCani and Thomas Rogers. Thomas Rogers fell all the way down to 9th place. Not where he wanted to be here in this race so far. Then you have, there is the 3 car in 10th place, Artyom Kozlov, who's gotten ahead of Elise Alexander. Alexander finally lost grip of that 10th place position, but still sitting firmly in the top 12. There's Simona Leroux for Red Bull Highlight Racing, the second of those 2 team cars, in 12th position. All the way down 13th place on her own, Keisha Fox, but she's broken free of Kaga Kobayashi, who now leads the conga line from 14th on down. We find our race leader now in. Coming to 45 laps to go. It has been a blisteringly quick race here in Chicago so far. Being caution free. Can't get too much better than what we've had so far today. We know there's another set of pit stops coming here in about, yeah, you can argue about 15 laps. This we'll start seeing some pit stops take place. Pretty easy strategy affair, unlike what tomorrow will be. Kenosha kind of on an island at the moment. But importantly, this battle for second is closing up towards the race leader. 5.9 is the gap. The gap has come down over this stint. It was about 8 seconds. It's now less than 6. So they've been chipping away at it, and they'll have to chip away a little bit more. Lap traffic will be the name of the game. But again, they do not want to throw themselves behind the 8 ball. Reminder that the top 10 of this field, the finishing results will invert to make the starting grid for tomorrow's race. If you win, you start 10th. If you finish 10th, you start on pole tomorrow. It is easier to settle for a second place finish and have a good starting position tomorrow than throw it all away and start from the back in Sunday's race. And that is the grave concern so far. Looks like the gap is still sitting about 5.9 seconds. Stabilize that time through. Still work to do though. A lot of race left. And lap traffic has told us that anything is possible here in downtown Chicago. Huge turnout for this weekend. Had pre-qualifying on Thursday. Great practice and qualifying yesterday. It was a very jam-packed event. Setting up for today's race, and we'll set up for tomorrow's race as well. Again, there's Kenosha in the 18. Still behind the 20 of Andrew Draco. Draco trying to stay on the lead lap at the moment, but his efforts to stay on the lead lap has slowed him down off the pace of Kurichenko. Draco was one of the first ones to come down pit lane for that first round of pit stops. It's expected the same will happen here in the second round of pit stops. Question is when. You can't quite go 40 laps without a pit stop here, so pitting now is out of the question. You have to make it about 12 more laps to feasibly make it before another pit stop. But now this clean air between Draco and Kurichenko, Kenosha may try to find us a way to get into that space. Another lap car behind her is another lap car in front of Kovalkiewicz and company. And that's all a positive right now. Talk about how quick Kenosha was the first quarter of this race. That pace has slowed down significantly. 1:14 is the name of the game all the way through the top four. You have to look all the way. You'd have to look really in the mid-pack. You look at Velicevic and Porter and Takani. They're running faster times in the race leader right now because they don't have this lap traffic to deal with. There will be an accordion effect where those in the mid-pack will begin to catch up with each other, and it'll almost act like a pendulum. It's going to be a very interesting phenomenon when it occurs here, but it's a very significant cutoff between where the top 12 is and where 13th on down is. Keisha Fox has broken through. As it looks like Kobayashi's turned up the pace a little bit. It seems like the biggest holdup now is Cameron Jackson in the 18th position. Is where the significant disconnect has been now. Everyone else turning up the pressure a little bit, and Cameron Jackson struggling to turn the tires on. Again, here's where the battle for second place is, and there's still a line of stern behind the last of the lap traffic. Look at where the pace has really separated Cameron Jackson. You see there's no one in front of him. You look at Glover, you look at Wyatt Jones, you look at, there's Asada Kito, there's Kaika Kobayashi. He's still holding up some cars, but they've pulled away from Jackson and company. They pulled away from Jackson and Lucero, Michelin. There's Ochoa. Damata, there's Asher Crane, there's Kurichenko, and then there's Draco, who is hanging on for dear life, trying to stay on lead lap. Again, this is all setting up for what will be a much more wild and chaotic race tomorrow when the top 10 gets inverted. Right now, 10th place is Artyom Kozlov, but then you have Thomas Rogers, Takani. So it almost looked like Kenosha tagged the wall there for a second. Once again, Drake on the outside gets the larger lead around to hold on to the lead lap. And you see here this battle for the top 5 has expanded. There's Esther Hobson's in the middle. She's 2 laps down. She's not in the mix. But Velicevic and Porter are. And Takani and Rogers are not far behind. Kozlov's a little bit away. Then there's Alexander and Leroux. But still a huge deficit here as Cameron Jackson's turned up the pressure here to try to get away from Lucero. And again, Kenosha trying to add pressure to Andrew Draco here. But right now, as things stand, again, we're waiting for another round of pit stops, obviously. Still a lot of racing to go here, coming to 39 laps to go. It'd be Kozlov on pole for tomorrow's race. Then it's Rogers in second, Takani, then Porter, Velicevic, Lefty, Ishibashi, Fang, Kovalkiewicz, and Kenosha rounding out the top 10 for the starting grid tomorrow, if things stand as they currently are. And again, Lap traffic and pit stops will change everything between now and then. But that's as of right now, and that is a topsy-turvy top 10. That would be very interesting to see how it plays out on top of the alternate compound tires that are going to be faster and burn out a lot quicker. Again, it's been caution-free all race long so far. These road and street course races have a time limit of 2 hours. We are an hour and 10 into this race. So we are working well ahead of that time limit right now. And the time limit set in place mostly in case there's a lot of incidents or if there's a weather factor in. It's been cloudy, but no chance of rain today. And there shouldn't be a chance of rain all weekend. Kenosha having to ease up and let those tires cool down. The front tires beginning to lose that bite. That is so important on a street circuit like this. Had to let off a little bit, ease off of it, and allow Draco to breathe a little bit as well. But you see the cars coming up there just at the very back of the screenshot. Those for second, third, fourth, and fifth. They are closing in. Kenosha leads the way. Once more, she's led all but a handful of laps, all but 3 laps in this race so far. Valerie Fang led 2, Evangeline Porter led 1, so they get bonus points for leading a lap. But points for pole and points for leading the most laps have gone to Kenosha. That is affirmed. Kenosha looking for max points tonight, because it will be very hard to find max points tomorrow. Doing an incredible job so far. As we come to what will be 36 laps to go. In a couple laps, the pit window will officially open for those last round of pit stops, and we'll see who decides to make that early jump and get an undercut. The undercut seemed to work for some, the overcut seemed to work for others. The overcut worked out pretty well for Valerie Fang, the undercut worked out phenomenally for Sakura Ishibashi. Oh, Draco was looking to make a move and now under threat from Kenosha, but Draco closes the door before Kenosha can get there. Draco was trying to fancy a move around the 84 Kurachenko and try to take the pressure off himself and apply it to Kurachenko, but it ended up not working out there. Kurachenko holds on to the 24th spot, Draco in 25th. So, okay, Kenosha can't do anything about it. She's doing everything she can. Lap traffic is allowed to fight. Kenosha stuck behind Draco at the moment. Draco fighting for his life. Kenosha once again right on the tail of Draco. Trying to strong arm her way around Draco to try to find some space. Again, Kenosha just struggling to get around Draco. It has been an interesting battle between lap traffic packs here, because the lap traffic in front of Kovalkiewicz Company has also been ebbing and flowing in terms of the pace that they've had. It's been ebbing and flowing between 5.8 seconds and 7 seconds. There's been a large variance. It's a matter of when they make those pit stops as to where that variance is going to sit. But we know pit stops are coming soon. They've got to come soon. Cars in pit lane. Kurchenko, the first car on pit lane. Kurchenko, first car on pit lane, the first to blink. And in that window, it makes sense. Kenosha knows the pit stops are coming. Just when does she make that stop? No one down pit lane that time. There's Kamaya, there's Von Sonen, there's Petrovic, Kovalkiewicz. A lot of drivers staying out. So we'll see how, because Kurchenko came in early, comparatively speaking, because they can go technically to about lap 70. Expect lap 68 to see where more cars come in. Kurchenko came in several laps early. We'll see if Kurchenko can make something of that. That'll be interesting to keep an eye on, because she's got clean real estate. That's important too. Kurchenko's got clean track right now. That is a very critical thing. There's Keisha Fox right now sitting in the top 13 behind Kurchenko at the moment. As sort of browse and peruse here, Kovalkiewicz still can't get around Petrovic or Von Sonen or Kamaya. Riley's lost touch with Kenosha and Draco. And for Kenosha, what a nightmare it'll be if she comes down a busy pit lane. Not this time, because pit lane's not busy this time. If you're Kenosha, you almost have to blink first. You almost have to blink first and just kind of see where you fall out. Kurchenko ended up in really clean real estate. And obviously, Kenosha was right behind Kurchenko when Kurchenko came in. It may be worth it to come in early, fall into that space where there is clean, and just open it up for a couple laps. it may not be a bad idea, but I don't know if Kenosha's going to take that, because you still have to kind of be worried and fearful that a caution comes out and you're stuck now in traffic and well out of the chance to win the race. It is a significant double-edged sword that Kenosha's holding right now. What side do you want to fall on? So right now she's going to stay out as long as she humanly can, and hope that things don't burn her. And it has been a very crazy race so far in terms of the traffic that the leaders have been dealing with, because again, no blue flags in this series. Especially if you're on lead lap, trying to stay on lead lap, you can fight it as much as you want to. And that's what Draco's been doing most of the second stint. And it has been extremely frustrating as the defending world champion. However, we know pit stops are coming imminently. Who blinks first and when remains to be seen. Draco losing touch, though, with the cars in front. Crane, the next car up the road from Draco. It's Crane, then D'Amata, then Ochoa, then Michelin. Bianca Lucero in 19th, ahead of that as well. Again, all 30 cars still running here in this race. Second pit stop's about to come in force here in a couple laps time. We're on lap 67 of 95. The first of two races here in Chicago. Kenosha continues to lead. The gap is opened up now a little bit more. Now that Draco's got some clean real estate, so does Kenosha technically by proxy. And it is opening the gap up as there it goes. Petrovic down pit lane. Much needed. You see how congregated this pack is. From Kovacevic all the way down through Porter down to Connie. There's Rogers in 9th. And Kozlov not far from it either in 10th. It has been an absolute congregation. Petrovic in and out of pit lane. There's the 84 of Kurachenko still in clean air. There's Keisha Fox also in clean air. Kobayashi's got all the clean air in the world ahead of Asada Kito, Wyatt Jones, and BK Glover. But pit stops, they are coming. More and more pit stops filtering their way in. Who else decides to blink this time? In comes Draco. Draco comes in as Kenosha starts lap 69. Kenosha finally with some reprieve to use that clean air. There's Riley, who's lost touch with the race leader. There's Kamaya. There is Von Sonen. And then you'll find Alicia Kovalkiewicz still mired in lap traffic, while Kenosha has some clean space. And a significant portion of clean space, at least the straightaway's worth, before she gets to Astrid Crane. Crane in that line of cars there. Kenosha looking at it. May pit before she gets to that line of cars. Maybe a smart idea. Again, it is all about managing not only strategy, but working the lap traffic as well. Just like what we saw a week ago at Indy. Artem Kozlov did that to perfection. Kenosha's got to do it here as well. And it is easier said than done. Very busy track here at Chicago. It's about to be a very busy pit lane at Chicago as well. How many cars come down pit lane this time? A lot of cars still not taking that service. It's very interesting to me. How many cars are staying out long? Trying to make everything work. Kenosha's in. So that did kind of check out. She was pretty keen on not getting involved in yet another line of lap traffic. Take advantage of that while it lasts. Next in pit lane, there comes, that is Kovalkiewicz, and it looks like Takani also down pit lane as well. Kenosha out of pit lane and ahead of Andrew Draco. So that was important. Draco now firmly a lap down. Where does everyone else cycle out? Kovalkiewicz importantly has some clean air as well. Ahead of her teammate and Keisha Fox. Valerie Fang in the lead of this race at the moment. I believe Kovalkiewicz has made her pit stop. So for Kovalkiewicz, she came out ahead of her teammate Keisha Fox. Not a bad place to be. Keisha Fox stays out. She stayed out long before. There is Lechty, and there is the 13 of Velisevich. Importantly, Petrovic ended up ahead of Kovalkiewicz, which is not what Kovalkiewicz wanted to see. The car is cycling all over the place. We'll have the long pit stop window, even longer this time. There is Kamaya and there is Riley coming down pit lane, and that is Ochoa in pit lane as well. As well as, I believe that is Wyatt Jones in pit lane. And I have to double check. It looks like that is the 77. That is Simona Leroux in pit lane. Yeah, that is Leroux in pit lane. And that was an extended pit stop too. Not what Leroux wanted. Not what Leroux needed either. Oh, and tags the wall, trying to stay side by side with Riley on pit exit. Not a smart move. Importantly for Kovalevich, she got ahead of Kamaya. So that is very important. There's Keisha Fox down pit lane now. In comes Bianca Lucero. There's Anastasia von Sonnen. And von Sonnen stays out another lap here ahead of Valerie Fang. Currently the race leader. There is Ishibashi down pit lane. That's Porter down pit lane. That is Lucero leaving pit lane. And there is Kinoshita, who will reinsert herself into second place here, waiting for her teammate to make a pit stop. Coming to 21 laps to go. Valerie Fang leads. Von Sonnen's got to make a pit stop, and so does Valerie Fang. And those two likely will come in together. And in comes Von Sonnen, and in comes Valerie Fang, as does, I believe that's a 19, that's the 28 Esther Hoffman, excuse me. Oh, that is almost dangerous there in that part of the track, but Katrina Ochoa, let's go, the race leader, and Kuni Kinoshita. And Kinoshita will re-inherit the race lead here. Michelin comes out of pit lane, will go a lap down, but stays ahead of Ochoa. Not a race to remember for Michelin in the Striker Motorsports camp for 2/3 of that team. And that undercut did not work out for Kurachenko at all. Still behind Ochoa, still behind Lucero, just ahead of Rex Riley. The undercut did not work in the slightest. And that's got to be frustrating. There's Glover in pit lane. It's out of Keto and Wyatt Jones. Once again, they are next to each other here. Then there's Kobayashi. Kinoshita's lapped up to, I believe that is 17th place, Keisha Fox. We'll see that if that updates. It might be actually a little bit further up because Michelin came down pit lane. So Michelin should be going a lap down here as well. So we'll see how it all calculates. There's Glover going a lap. Not sure if Glover went a lap down or not in that. I believe he did. I believe BK Glover's officially a lap down here. But just so, that is going to be a sour day for Team Impulse. Because they've not really been hardly anywhere compared to Cat Devil Racing. And that's been the barometer this season for them. Can they stick it to Cat Devil Racing? Can they hold on to the Kyoto squad? Answer to that today so far has been no. Yeah, that Indianapolis 500 hangover's got to be pretty real at the moment. Glover's right now ahead of Michelin and ahead of Ochoa and Andrew Draco. It's a good company. You look at the stats that these four have had throughout their careers. Just to see them all a lap down, it's going to be a staggering and sobering reminder of just how good the 18 team has been. Then there's Lucero, there's Kurachenko, there's Riley. Then you see Leroux. I don't know if Leroux, I think Leroux's a lap down now. Yeah, Leroux is a lap down. It is still Kovalevich second, then third for Ishibashi. Then you have to look over further down. There's Von Sonnen ahead of Valerie Fang, which is critical. There's Kamai, who's a lap down. There's Nicole Lechty in fifth. Sixth place, Evangeline Porter. Seventh place, Thomas Rogers. Eighth place, Felicevich. Ninth place is the 69 at Takani. 10th place, Kozlov still. And then there's Alexander in 11th. Mind that 10th place is reverse pole, so they start on pole on Sunday's race. So that's why it's important between Kozlov and Alexander. Cameron Jackson is the last car one lap down. Dragon Motorsports overall just having a very abysmal race here in Chicago so far. It's all eyes on Kuni Kinoshita, trying to make magic happen here in Chicago. Kobayashi up ahead. Driving for Vanta Racing. Kinoshita doing what she can to secure a race win. So far doing a phenomenal job. She's led 70 laps so far today out of 78. Near perfection for the 18 crew. It will not be a grand slam because she's not led every lap, but it's as close as you reasonably can get. Lap times, they are staggeringly different. 112.0 compared to 114.3 was the last trip around between Kenosha and Kovalevich. It's about to slow down a little bit now that Kenosha is caught up to Kobayashi. But Kenosha enjoyed a good stretch there where she could just stretch her legs and let it rip. That's got to be cathartic for the soul for Kenosha. Spending so much time behind lap traffic, and got to open up a little bit. And boy, did it fly. 19 seconds to the gap now between first and second. Kenosha wanted to assert dominance there in the final stanza of this race, and she's done just that. Okay, it's been a caution-free race. That Camaro ZL1 pace car is sat idle most of the race. That means the drivers have been working at it, and it's been a quick race. And Kenosha now stuck behind Kobayashi will allow a little bit of reprieve and pursuit, if possible, by Kovalevich Company. But again, they're stuck behind all this lap traffic. Kenosha got clear of it. Kenosha got that very valuable clean air and hooked onto it and did not let go. It's been oh so important. A very, very important day for Kenosha to wash away the disappointment of 6 days ago as Kenosha, no, that's Kenosha, that is Kovalkiewicz and Ishibashi getting into it in turn 1. And Ishibashi will take advantage of it, but both cars got contact out of it. Wow. Phenomenal stuff so far. We're in the final 15 laps of this race. And Kovalkiewicz made one mistake, but it's enough to give Ishibashi second place. Ishibashi's just got to hold on. Kovalkiewicz has got to hope that that car is not wounded to the point where it needs to come down pit lane. This is, I think, the biggest concern right now. Von Sonnen in the middle of this has gained 3 spots, but still sets 27. They're starting this race in 30th. Valerie Fang, stuck behind lap traffic, cannot take advantage of anything that's going on with Kovalkiewicz at the moment. Same thing can be said for Lechty. Cannot take advantage because she's stuck behind Kamaya. Been a very busy track here at Chicago. But race 1 is almost over. CUNY Kenosha leads the way. All 30 cars still running in this race. Importantly, can we say the same thing tomorrow? That'll be the magical question we get to see if we can get answered. Kenosha holding on, battling with Kobayashi, trying to get around Kobayashi, but may just kind of sit behind him at the moment. She doesn't have any pressure to really get around the 42 at all. It's a 20.5 second gap, and she knows her teammate now. Her stepsister is in second place. Ishibashi sits second, but it's a distant 20.5. And Ishibashi's wounded. That contact with Kovalkiewicz damaged the front wing. It is easy going now for Kenosha. Best case scenario has happened. Kenosha trying to keep pursuit with Kobayashi. Just kind of keep building it up a little bit. as they continue to fight. Less than 10 laps to go here in Chicago. Rundown as we sit. It's Kenosha, Ishibashi, Kovalkiewicz, then Fang, Lechty, Porter, Rogers, Felicevich, Takani, and Kozlov in the top 10 at the moment. That's where things sit right now. Kobayashi stays ahead of Kenosha at the moment, trying to stay on the lead lap. Kobayashi is currently in the 15th position. Kenosha's lapped half the field. And it has been staggering. Kenosha's got to be careful. She's been running wide a little bit more, trying to find clean air to try to see if she can make a pass on Kobayashi. But you don't want to put yourself in trouble. She's getting right to the gearbox of that 42 car as well. Less than 10 laps to go. Kenosha, that Pepsi number 18, leads the way. Lap traffic surrounding the 18, but it is a phenomenal lead all the way down to Sakura Ishibashi. Who looks to recover her season. Right now sitting in second, ahead of Alicia Kovalkiewicz. Lap traffic ahead of that 17 car, that's Petrovic. Petrovic sits right now in the 26th position, and then Rex Riley in 25th. Ishibashi continues to lead the way in that battle for second place, but it's a line of cars all the way through. Again, just a handful of laps to go here in Chicago for race 1. Race 2 tomorrow at the exact same time. Will provide a lot of different intrigue, different tires, different lineup. Who's going to have what on the streets of Chicago tomorrow for the second part of the doubleheader? All 30 cars still rolling on track at the moment, but Kenosha looking for maximum points and is not far away from making that happen. 7 laps to go. And it's a 22.3 second gap between Kenosha and Ishibashi. 5 laps to go here in Chicago. Kenosha leads. And it has been an astounding, near-perfect race for the 18 crew after what was anything but perfect last week. She entered tonight with a 14-point lead and will extend that by quite some margin at the end of this race. The question is, where does everyone else end up? Pressure is on. Valerie Fang trying to make some moves to get around Bonsonen. They have a chance to go after Kovalkiewicz. How much can Valerie Fang do to make work happen in these next 4 laps? It isn't through lack of trying. Currently it's 4th, Thomas Rogers in 5th at the moment as things stand. Again, it's been near perfect by CUNY Kenosha. Valerie Fang has led the second most laps, 6 laps led for the 16 car here this afternoon. Rogers in 5th, then there's Nicole Lecty in 6th. Velisevich 7th, Takani in 8th, ahead of Porter, then Kozlov. And then Alexander in 11th, the first car out of the top 10. Takani sitting just inside the top 10, sitting in 8th place. If she can hold on to it, we'll start 3rd in the race tomorrow. And again, it's an island where you'll find Kenosha. It's an island of cars, and Kenosha's leading the way in it. 3 laps to go. What a race for Kenosha. Was abysmally upset by how Indianapolis went. Nowhere near where she wanted to be. Put it on its head and wanted to correct course as soon as possible, coming to 2 laps to go. And that's what she's done. Kenosha knowing that with a little over a lap and a half to go. She's done all the work to this point. Leading these laps 2 laps, it'll give her a whopping 88 laps led in this race. Again, it's been absolutely staggering what she's done. Coming to the white flag, 1 lap to go in Chicago. Again, she's done an absolutely outstanding job. From how disappointing it was, finishing 28th at the Brickyard 6 days ago, to the glories of winning the first street race in Chicago. She is half a lap away from pay dirt. Kage Kobayashi will get to keep his pride in check by staying on the lead lap after qualifying his best finish. Kobayashi qualified this race in 13th, his best qualifying result of the year. Looking for his best finish of the year. Kenosha would love to spoil it and put him a lap down right at the very end, but Kobayashi will hold on. It is a very easy race win at the end of the day for Kenny Kenosha, who comes around the final corner now. History in the making. Kenosha wins once again. She takes the streets of Chicago for the first time. Race 1 belongs to Cat Devil Racing. And now we pivot our way down in this battle for second place. It'll be a 1-2 for Cat Devil Racing. Sakura Ishibashi returns to the podium in Chicago, will take second place, as will a return to the podium for Alicia Kovalkiewicz. Third place for the 96 crew. Fourth place for Valerie Fang. Fifth place, Thomas Rogers. Sixth place for Nicole Lechty. Artem Kozlov will start the race tomorrow at the front of the field. Reverse race pole. All eyes on Kenosha, race winner here tonight. 88 laps led. Near perfection, fastest lap of the race. Pole position. As flawless as could be tonight for Kenosha. She'll have to do it again and then some tomorrow. She'll start 10th. A caution-free race. Just under the 2-hour mark. Everyone had it figured out. And down pit lane, Kenosha comes. As everyone comes down Park for May, everyone survived the hardest part, and that was get through the first round of the weekend without taking damage, without totaling the car. Everyone did that. Now everyone gets to make some adjustments and get ready for tomorrow, because there is no warm-up, there is no practice session to get ready for it. Just dial it in and get ready to go tomorrow, 1 p.m. right back here on ABN Sports for race 10 of the AT&T Champ Car World Series season. Results scrolling at the top of your screen. It is Kenosha with the race win, extending her points lead once more. Sakura Ishibashi in second, Alicia Kovalkiewicz third. Then it's Valerie Fang and Thomas Rogers rounding out the top 5 for them. Cat Devil Racing came out in spades. All 3 of their cars in the top 4. Nicole Lechty ended up in 6th place. Then Natalia Velicevic, Julia Takani, Evangeline Porter, and Artem Kozlov rounded out the top 10. Again, the top 10 invert for the starting grid. In tomorrow's race, Kozlov will take the lead, pole position there. Porter in 9th will start 2nd tomorrow. Takani 3rd, Velicevic 4th is how the starting grid will end up being tomorrow. Just outside the top 10, first car out, Elise Alexander, sat in the top 10 most of the race, qualified top 10, but will start 11th where she finished today. Keisha Fox, Asada Quito, Wyatt Jones, and Kage Kobayashi round out the top 15, all of them on the lead lap. For Kobayashi, his best qualifying performance today, started 13th, finished 15th. A good result for him for Vontae Racing. Same can't be said for his teammate, who finished down in the 26th position. Maria Damata, the first car 1 lap down, starts this race tomorrow from 16th, finished 16th tonight. 17th place is where you'll find BK Glover, not where he wanted to be. Mateus Michelin 18th ahead of Katrina Ochoa and Andrew Draco rounding out the top 20. Astra Crane, Bianca Lucero, Natalia Kurachenko, Simona Leroux, and Rex Riley make up the top 25, and the bottom 5 in today's race is Marcus Petrovich, Anastasius von Sonnen, Shinichi Kamaya, Cameron Jackson, and Esther Hofson. That is your field results. All 30 cars took the finish. Thought to do it again tomorrow. They put the alternate compounds on. They increased the race speed. And they let them rip once again for another 95-lap race here in Chicago. On behalf of everyone here for ABN Sports, though, this is day one coverage of the Grand Prix of Chicago. Come back tomorrow, 1 p.m. for race 2 here from downtown. On behalf of everyone here for ABN Sports, for the AT&T Champ Car World Series, we'll see you tomorrow from Chicago once more. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, have some fun. We'll see you here in 24 hours' time.